Ameeta Mehra is arguably India's most successful breeder, and her life is all about being. It's a sense of being alive and being aware, and it's no wonder that her home is called the Presence. This is where we begin our journey early in the morning. We find Ameeta in the throes of a tennis game and exchange a few volleys on the tennis court and off the court with her over breakfast.
Morning starts with tennis every morning, and then you have a standard routine. But intriguingly about your home out here, I noticed that it's called the Presence. What's the significance of that?
The name means so much, mainly because it was given by my mentor, Dr. Nirodharan, who was a personal assistant of Sri Aurobindo for 12 years in Pondicherry. He passed away in 2005 at the age of 103. But he gave me this name, the Presence, and for me it's a kind of a protection, and symbolizes perhaps my aspiration to live with that inner presence, always in front.
The sense of inner presence is extremely important. Now, you always begin your day with tennis in the morning, and what's your routine like?
Yeah, I do begin my day with tennis in the morning. But for me, tennis is, besides the physical, the game, the sport, which I must confess, I'm very competitive. And it's like we were playing Wimbledon here, not just a simple set. So, but strangely enough, we practice before we start playing games. We actually practice for about half an hour, warming up. Going through different shots, so that I keep improving my game too. And at that time, I'm not playing tennis for, it's a kind of a meditation for me. And I always think that sport, if you use it consciously, can become a tool for self-development and enhancing your skills as a person. Detoxing the mind, but also more importantly, developing attitudes, in terms of, I sort of increase my intuitive abilities through this game, and also concentrate that sometimes I'm hitting the ball to the divine. Okay. So it's like it's sometimes you get into a very, very strong meditative state. So I use it for a lot of other purposes besides the sporty part. Of course, once I start playing the game, then it gets competitive. Then I have to win. But then also the winning is also part of the same attitude that life is a game and it's a sport, and you have to learn how to play it fairly. But you want to win. It's a 7-day week, and I especially work on a Sunday more than any other day, because it's important that everybody knows and experiences it's a level playing field. But having said that, because we do work 7 days, we have it much easier in the afternoon.
What do you do in the afternoons? Do you take time off yourself?
I get a power nap, about half an hour at least every afternoon, or as often as I can. For me, Usha is a place that has been given to me, I believe, by a higher providence, to manifest my service to something much bigger than myself. I believe that the Usha Stud Farm is not just a business, even though it is a very commercially successful one, but for me, inwardly, I take it as a gift from the divine to hone my own abilities as a person, and also to be able to give to society and to a larger good. And in this case, it is manifested more in terms of my work at the Gnostic Center, charities, kind of work that the profits of this, more than half, I would say, right. And I'm being very conservative there, go towards this other work. I think that part of the tremendous success that I've been having at Usha Stud Farm has nothing to do with myself. or anything else. It's probably because it's been given for a higher work and for a greater good. It's a means to an end, but the means is as important as the end, because in this case the means are the most beautiful means you could find on God's earth. You know, you couldn't. My father always told me, "You are so fortunate that you have a profession that most people would pay to do, and you're getting, you know, you're earning your bread and butter being with the animals and with horses especially, because that is the most beautiful thing." So that is something that really nurtures me, especially because I'm single and I've lost my family. For me, the horses, the environment, the beauty, nature, those are things that constantly give so much more than I could ever want. And for me, then the sense is that the stud farm is something that belongs to I think it belongs to the divine. Even the stud farm itself, we employ 300 people here. There are 250 or 280 horses. The peacocks come and feed on the grain. The squirrels come and feed here. The birds have a sanctuary here. So, you know, the kind of life that nature provides us is something fantastic. Then, of course, the Gnostic Center, the school, the little children, right. 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, then the students who come here, the professionals who come here. And then, of course, besides the Gnostic Center, which is my own personal work and my own contribution in terms of an ideal and an aim, it's also now become wider than that. Suddenly I've been pulled into Auroville, which is an international city, and my contribution there, my work there, my offerings there, then the ashram, the Sri Aurobindo ashram. So it's sort of extending further and further out. It's almost like the waves are just spreading, and wherever it goes, the directions in which it goes, one follows those spontaneously.
Tennis, breakfast out of the way. What's next?
The next thing is going to the office. The mundane chores of everyday life, that's true. It's I have 3 dark files waiting there. So the electricity bills, the demands, because the storekeepers of the 3 stud farms come, what has to be purchased. So it's all of that, a little bit of accounts, getting the office organized. So that takes me about anything between half an hour to an hour, depending on how much is to be done there. So after the office, then I go to the stud farm, one farm or the other. Pataudi and Chunsara I do on one day, because now there are very few horses there, only the yearlings. 2-year-olds have been delivered. And the stud farm Usha, which is here, with the mares, foals and stallions, here I take one day for this. So alternate days, you know. And then one day I always keep for either work I have to do in Delhi or any other kind of work that may come up.
So it's a 7-day week.
So it's a 7-day week.
A quick ride in Ameeta's new baby, a Porsche Cayenne, takes us to where the horses are. Amongst Ameeta's passion for reading and writing and her ear and voice for music is cars.
Where we do horse darshan. This is when you look at all the horses.
This is the time when the mare comes, the foal comes. We all sit together here. The senior vet, myself, manager, vet, all of us are around here. The feed man, the farriers, the head grooms, and we evaluate and see each horse as they come. So the foal and mare, next, chalo trot. And what basically happens is that there's a contact in terms of communication with the horse and the foal. A lot of them, they just turn and they look at you. The nature calls, the most beautiful sight of all. In fact, this is the logo of Usha Stud, the mare and foal drinking.
Absolutely.
The foal drinking from the mare. Live logo here, and that also from a top-class mare.
When was the last time it happened to you that you saw a horse maybe 10 days old or 15 days old and you said, this is going to be really special, and it did become very special?
You won't believe this, but the horse, it was not too long ago, it was a horse called Red Romeo.
Really?
Yes. When he was a foal, he was the most smashing foal that you could ever see. He turned out to be a beautiful yearling. In fact, so good that I didn't want to sell him. I wanted to take him to Dubai. But then my Dubai horses weren't faring so good, and I figured out that unless you had a really good team working there for you, long distance remote control wasn't going to work. And so I decided not to send him there, which is how he went to Shiva and Surendranath.
Lunchtime arrives, but before Ameeta sits down to eat, she ensures that her staff have eaten, and amongst her many initiatives is an open kitchen for the Stud Farm community.
I try and provide them with things that they don't need to bother with, because we have a langar, they have their meals there, which is provided free of cost. We give them free accommodation and facilities, medical. We also organize football matches, cricket matches for them. Yeah, we have competitions. They also get a sense of pride in Usha Stud. They feel proud of being here. Anyone who's worked here and is working here says, I'm working in Usha Stud Farm. It means something to them. Most of my staff are people who worked here for 20 years, 30 years, 15 years.
Lunch for Ameeta is a light meal and primarily organic. Lunch is followed by a power nap, which prepares Ameeta for the rest of the day. On awakening, Ameeta's real awakening awaits her at her Gnostic Center.
Ameeta, this is the latter part of your day now, and you've had a nap, you're looking fresh. And I believe these cookies, delicious as they are, made here.
Yes, that's true. We have an organic cafe here. This is the Gnostic Center, by the way. This is the bastion of my life, the raison d'etre of my life, you can say. It's my sort of dream come true, and it's true, I've had my power nap, slept well, showered, and this is the second half of my day, which is a sort of a kind of more inwardizing. It's like with the setting of the sun, it's also the kind of going within,
Right.
Gathering of one's energies, focusing inwards, reflections, meditations, time to be quiet, enjoy a cup of tea, talk to you.
This is the ends, right? The entire day has been about the means, and now we are at the ends. Tell us about the philosophy of the Gnostic Center and its place in this world.
It began with three of us who had been studying the synthesis of yoga, Sri Aurobindo's books, for the past 9 years previously, every Sunday. And as we were studying and we were meditating, we used to meet in each other's houses. We felt very much that this atmosphere that we had generated as a small group of seekers, aspirants wanting to study philosophy, wanting to practice yoga, wanting to meditate, was becoming so full that we felt we needed to express ourselves in a physical space, to have a physical space, to also have a space where others could come in and join, and also to create a kind of an educational center for those seeking for a deeper knowledge. So the Gnostic Center began with this idea, and in the beginning we used to pool our earnings. We were all on salaries. I used to get, when I first joined my father in 1992, I started with a salary of 6,000 rupees, and we used to pool a couple of thousand rupees every month in a kind of piggy bank, and we thought we would begin the center very ambitiously with all this great amount of money that we were collecting, not very much actually, but I think it was a spirit behind it. Three of us had got together to do it, and the interesting part is that when I first began the center in 1996, my parents were very opposed to it, and my father said, if you have to start this center, it will be with your own resources, and it will be despite me, in the sense that I would...
Was he afraid of losing you?
He was very afraid of losing me to the center, to this. He felt, he didn't understand what we were doing. And he said, oh, I'm going to run away to some ashram, leaving the world, leaving the horses and all of this. And he said, these young, girls are a little strange, because all they want to do is study, meditate, read, and they are, most unworldly. And he said, okay, you can do it, but first of all, you will do it on the land, this land I've given for your house. If you don't want to build a house, you want to grow trees here, you grow trees here. If you don't, and I will do everything in my power to stop you. And he used to do it. He used to come. In the beginning, he was very, very difficult. He would not give me time off. He would always find new things for me to do every time I wanted to come here and things like that. But, and he did not give us a penny. In fact, once he was very angry because he came here without telling him. I put the foundation stone, and we had got some donations from some well-wishers, and we had trucks of stones and all that for the building had arrived. And I hadn't told him that I was going to use the land he'd given for this wonderful mansion that he wanted to build for me. I wanted to use it for the center. So when he came here, he saw all of this and he was very angry. He said, I'm going to order the bulldozers to come and put everything, you know, put everything to the ground. Fortunately, at that time, I was in the Pondicherry ashram. And when he left from here, better sense prevailed. And he said, okay, I'll wait till she comes back. He told one of my friends outside in the parking. He says, I'm calling a bulldozer to put all of this to the ground. Why didn't she tell me that she's building this thing here? I refused to come back from Pondicherry, writing a letter to him that unless you promise that you will do nothing of the sort, I'm sitting here, I'm taking sannyas, and you can run the farm yourself.
You're going to become the monk who sold her Porsche.
That's true. So at that time, of course, I had no Porsche. I was on from 6,000 I'd gone to 7,000 the next year. So in 1996, I was drawing 7,500 rupees, and I had a little house which, you know, you've been to, but at that time was even very minimal. We had done a lot of changes since then, but I must tell you that when I returned, he realized I was determined, and then he told me one thing. He said, Ameeta, you breed me an Indian Derby winner, and you can do whatever you like. You can change the whole stud farm into a university for all I care. You can shut the farm down. He didn't think that we were going to get a Derby winner quickly. He thought it'll take me 10, 15, 20 years.
So which is the one that changed this?
Indictment. That was my first Derby winner that I produced. It came from the birth, you know, I was in this thing. It was, yeah, and that time Razine had just arrived. So and
Indictment was in his
first crop. And so my father didn't know how good Razine was. And the babies of Razine were horrible looking creatures. They were all gawky and they were big and ugly, and he said, oh my God, I've made a mistake. What have I bought? You know, he was having second thoughts. So he said, oh, this is never going to, you know, and within 3 years, I produced the first Derby winner.
Not just a Derby winner, he won the Triple Crown.
He won the Triple Crown. And that changed his whole attitude towards the Gnostic Center, towards me, towards the work. He became very open. And that's how we started the center. But actually the philosophy of the center, which is what you were also asking me, what is the philosophy of the Gnostic Center? What is, you know, why is it here? The Gnostic Center is a research center for the growth of consciousness, which basically means it is a place created, a space created for those people, professionals, students, people who feel that there's something more to life than roti, kapra and makan.
As the evening turns to dusk, it's time to end the day with meditation.
Finally, to our last stop.
Yes.
For the day. Tell us where we are going. And,
yes.
You know, this is new.
This is the shrine which we built and inaugurated last year on the 28th of March 2007. It is a great privilege to have here the relics of Sri Aurobindo. Wow. The relics of Sri Aurobindo contain the supramental consciousness, the new consciousness, the higher consciousness that we spoke about, that can bring about change in the cellular consciousness of the body. It also has a lot of force, potency, and is a place where those who want to concentrate, those who want to meditate, who want to aspire for a greater life, and for a deeper existence, go here, meditate quietly, do their pranam, or just sit down in silence. The relics of Sri Aurobindo are not just given to any place, and there are a lot of preconditions and requirements for them to be carried to a particular place. It took us quite 10 years to create those conditions here, and I think it's a very special place. I leave the rest for the place to show you what it feels like, but it's a place of total and complete silence where you can't speak once you enter, and it's a place that I come to every single day, and this is where I do my meditation in silence for about 15-20 minutes each day.
And brings you the perfect end to a wonderful day.
It brings a lovely end to the day. It's a time of offering. It's a time of thanksgiving. It's a time of sharing with the divine what has taken place during the day. It's a time for reflection of where one is, where one has gone wrong, what better one can do tomorrow. For me, it's the perfect end to a day. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam Mama Deva Deva.
Music is close to Ameeta's heart, and it's true that music is the corridor through which spirituality can be attained.
Music has been been the soul of my life for a long time. As a young child, I was trained in Western classical music, the piano, and I used to be the soprano singer in school. And then later I got interested in classical music, and then got trained in the Dhrupad tradition, and was singing. I did 3 years of my music exams, and then gave up. But music is an abiding passion. I think I can say that the one thing that can move me to tears and can really elevate my consciousness is music.
It's been a day that words cannot aptly define. It's been a life that's not been easy to define. But it's been a journey that has defined the very essence of a life being fully lived.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to run, to go where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to strive when your arms are too weary, to dream, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause.